All right, let's get right into it. We are living through this massive, unprecedented AI boom. You'd think with all this money, all this talent, and all these resources flying around, we'd be seeing breakthroughs left and right. So why does one of the creators of the Transformer, yeah, the T and ChatGPT, think all this intense competition might actually be slowing us down? We're going to unpack that exact paradox, all based on the thinking of Lion Jones.
So to really get what's going on now, we have to go back to the beginning. The Transformer, the architecture that powers pretty much all of modern AI, well, it wasn't forged in some high-pressure top-down race to the finish line, not at all. As Leon Jones puts it, it was an organic bottom-up kind of thing. It literally grew out of casual chats, scribbles on a whiteboard. It was all driven by genuine curiosity, not some manager breathing down their necks. And wow, when you put those two worlds side by side like this, the difference is it's stark. On the left, you have the environment that gave us the Transformer. Organic, free, totally open-ended. And on the right, that's the AI industry today. Insane pressure, fierce competition, and this constant nagging demand for a return on investment. You can see the problem right there. We've shifted from a creative garden to a high-stakes racetrack. And this right here leads us to what we can call the great AI paradox. It's a real head-scratcher. How is it possible that pouring more money, more people, more everything into a field could actually lead to fewer new ideas? Let's break it down. Okay, so first, let's just state the obvious. There has never been a better time to be in AI, at least on paper. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars in investment. The smartest people from all over the world are jumping into the field. You'd think this would just be a recipe for an absolute explosion of creativity, right? Well, here's the twist. All of that incredible momentum is, paradoxically, causing the field to get narrower. Instead of 1,000 different flowers blooming, it's more like everyone is planting the exact same type of seed, just hoping theirs grows a tiny bit faster than the person's next to them. So why? Why is this happening? Well, it really all boils down to one word: pressure. You've got pressure from investors who, want to see a return on their money, and that pushes companies toward the safest bets. You've got pressure on individuals to just stand out in this super crowded field, so they work on what's popular to get papers published fast. And then there's that constant fear of being scooped, where one of the other 3 teams working on the exact same idea publishes first. All of this just leads everyone to grab the easy, low-hanging fruit instead of trying to plant a whole new kind of tree.
There's actually a perfect way to think about this, and it's a concept that comes from the world of AI itself. It's called the exploration-exploitation trade-off, and it just brilliantly explains the corner the entire industry has backed itself into. So here's the deal with this trade-off. You've got 2 choices. You can exploit, which means you take something you already know works and just keep refining it for small, steady gains. Or you can explore. That's when you go searching for a totally new solution. It's way riskier for sure, but the potential payoff is huge. The real danger is, if you only ever exploit, you could completely miss a revolutionary discovery that's waiting just around the corner. And yeah, this chart, this pretty much says it all, doesn't it? The AI industry right now is leaning heavily, almost entirely on exploitation. Look at that. This huge, towering bar represents all the resources being poured into making tiny little improvements on things like the Transformer. And that little bar, that's the dangerously small amount being spent on actually exploring what else could be out there. And here's the real kicker. Before the Transformer showed up, researchers spent years and years making tiny incremental gains on the old architecture, recurrent neural networks. Jones says that the moment the Transformer was released, all that previous work suddenly felt a bit pointless. And why? Because the Transformer wasn't just a small improvement. It was a massive conceptual leap. It was a product of exploration. And that's the crucial lesson we're at risk of forgetting.
All right, so if we've diagnosed the problem, what on earth is the solution? How do we start to rebalance these scales? How do we encourage the kind of research that leads to those real game-changing breakthroughs? This quote, which Jones brings up, is just such a powerful guiding light. It's a simple rule of thumb: work on something that is uniquely yours. If every single researcher out there adopted this mindset, we'd naturally stop crowding around the same handful of ideas and start exploring the vast, undiscovered territory of AI. And look, this isn't just some abstract, feel-good idea. Creating an environment that actually supports this kind of work has real, tangible benefits. When you give researchers freedom, they can do the science properly, without cutting corners. They're not wasting mental energy worrying about being scooped. And here's a really interesting one. This kind of high autonomy culture is a magnet for top talent, often way more effective than just throwing money at them. Think about it. $1 million salary screams, deliver safe results now. It doesn't scream, go take a wild creative risk. So what this all boils down to, really, is a final call to action. It's a challenge for every single person in the AI ecosystem to just be bolder.
And listen, this isn't just on one group of people. Everyone has a part to play. Researchers have to be bold enough to follow their own real curiosity, not just the latest trend. Managers have to be bold enough to trust them and give them that freedom. Business leaders have to be bold enough to build companies that actually value that kind of exploration. And yep, investors have to be bold enough to back them, to understand that the biggest wins come from a long-term vision, not chasing short-term gains.
Because at the end of the day, this whole thing needs a reframe. Lion Jones makes it clear that from his point of view, this is not a zero-sum game. The real goal here isn't to beat the competition. The real goal is for all of us to work together to perfect this technology for the benefit of everyone. If we can all just turn up that explore dial a bit and share what we find, we'll get where we're all trying to go so much faster. Which leaves us all with one last, really crucial question. In a world that is so defined by competition and pressure, in a world where the technology we already have is so good that it discourages us from even looking for something better, are we bold enough to actually change course?